Yes, the boohoo effect here. In this video, we're going to be addressing some of Montagraph's claims. Now, he makes countless claims every day, so let's just take a little time and focus on a few that he has made lately. Now, when viewing these allegations, remember, both Montagraph and Agent 19 claim that they are professional detectives. I am not aware if YouTube offers this as an official employment opportunity, but that's beside the point. Let's just play the first snippet, shall we?
Then I had a guy named Brady from Washington State.
Steven. I thought I told you that I am 100% not this poor guy that you keep harassing. Okay, again, let's take a listen to this guy's voice. Your memory or your ability to intake cognitive understanding seems to be lacking.
We gotta sing happy birthday to Nate. 1, 2, 3. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Judy. Happy birthday to you.
You know, to be honest here, I don't even think I can sound like this guy, even if I try to. And I even do impressions. Moving on.
Begging me to vacuum my mansion if I live in. So no, dude, you don't vacuum my mansion. Okay? Sorry. Wrong. So what he did, he came home and started back. I found him vacuuming my mansion that I live in. It's not my mansion, I just live there. Yep, he's vacuuming, and next thing I know, he just minding my own business at my computer, and what's the guy do? He starts kissing my feet, like he always does. You know, he's big shells. It's like, dude, go get a girlfriend or something.
Now, I know that this is more of your sarcastic humor here. You know, the usual hoped-for attempt to try to get inside my head through perverted humor. You're predictable. We know that this is coming. You do memes, Photoshop silly little childlike pictures. We get it. Okay, now, moving on here. Many people have saw that video intro, Steven, where it shows you walking up to this mansion in an apparent attempt to make it appear that you live a very wealthy and rich lifestyle. Now you're claiming that it belongs to some rich elderly friend of yours, even though it is quite known that you have lived with this Dolly, is that how it's pronounced, Steven, for years and years, while you have been using this little mansion clip for your intros and your videos. You've been doing this for years now. But I am really not sure what this situation is really about, to be honest. Nor do I even want to start to speculate what it is all about. Some things is just best left to be emitted right out of the human imagination. You get my meaning on this? Yeah, let's just let's just get moving on. This is kind of getting scary.
Get a boyfriend somewhere else. I'm not into that. I'm taking with a woman. Okay, get out of here. Who cares about you? This is a guy that some craziness that it's the guy that left his wife. Try to imagine his wife was pregnant. And he left his wife for another man. Wow. Oof. What is going on?
Now this allegation, Stephen, I have never heard before. Where did you pull this one out of a hat at? Even though you are continuing to rake an innocent person's name through the mud, inserting him into your internet fights, where did this information come from anyways? You should know, as a professional Google detective, why are you not providing sources to all these claims? Can you? I'm not going to hold my breath, as usual. Isn't this what you always accuse others, though, of not having tangible evidence attached? Also, why don't you put this in writing for Mr. Landon? State his full name, Stephen, attached to such claims that you are making in this guy's name. Why? Because I want Mr. Landon to have sufficient evidence, just in case he finally grows fed up with their constant slandering and smearing his victimized name.
Then we got this other convict. What's her name? Convict Katie. Yeah. The woman that neglects her own kids and starves them to death to gratify her living. What is wrong with these people? Truly.
Have you ever produced evidence on this allegation, Stephen? Or are you possibly listening to a known liar and fabricator who is known to Photoshop and use inspect element in her schemes? Haven't you done that before? With me? Oh, yes, you have. Because you cannot compete. You know, the person who used to call her the Great American Mom? Why don't you tell us, Stephen, how you got this source, this information from? Because Katie is still awaiting for you to provide this evidence to this slanderous claim against her. You seem to think that you have a license to slander targeted people on a daily basis. But yet, if someone who merely calls her cell phone wanting to talk to you man to man, what do? You throw a tantrum by trying to use this system again as a tool to harass this person with, making erroneous claims in which pretty much makes up the whole theme of your existence on the internet. It is quite obvious, Stephen, that you are upset. You're angry. You want to lash out and to assure your self-preservation of your pride and dignity. In effect, when individuals are confronted with psychological pain or the threat of such pain, the internal activation of an angry response like what you give so predictably, Stephen, to others will only precipitate the release of a chemical expressly designed to numb it. This is why I have always long viewed your anger as a double-edged sword. It's terribly detrimental to relationships, in which I highly suspicion that you are a very lonely single person. This lifestyle that you do lead will only confine your social life to an unhealthy lifestyle of constant social networking. You do it constantly. You sleep during the day, then you stay up all night, and you get on your live streams, and you get drunk, and you're smoking like a fish. Isn't this right? You see, this symptomatic anger of yours is merely a cover up for the pain of your core set of hurts, Stephen. I mean, it's only reasonable to conclude that if this self-elicitation on your part of this anger issues can successfully fend off such hurtful or unbearable feelings, one might eventually become dependent on the emotion to the point of an addiction. And I think you got this addiction, Stephen. The psychological concept of self-soothing is unquestionably relevant here, for we all need to find ways of comforting or reassuring ourselves when our self-esteem is endangered, whether through criticism, confrontation from others on the internet, which I see you arguing with people daily, and you enjoy it because somehow this is your self-medication to soothe this inner demon within you. You need to find ways of comforting or reassuring yourself when your self-esteem is endangered. And this negativity that you experience, this feedback that you get coming back your way, only revives this old haunting self-doubts within you, doesn't it? Let's put it this way. If we're healthy psychologically speaking here, then we would know the coping tools needed to self-medicate or self-validate our own selves. We wouldn't have to lash out and take it on other people to purposely cause other people emotional pain. Isn't that what you're doing? If anybody doubts this, look at your live stream. Look at all of your live stream videos. That will tell you the answer. But if deep down we still feel bad about who we are, our deficient sense of self simply won't be able to withstand such external threats that you experience on the internet. You don't even leave YouTube, do you? The remedy in this case? As paradoxical as it may seem, anger Even though it destroys our inner peace of mind or sense of well-being, it serves to soothe. For the anger potentially serves to invalidate whoever or whatever that led you, Stephen, to feel invalidated. Are you getting this? In view of this, disconfirming the legitimacy of the negative external forces, like people on the internet that you're currently arguing with, people in your case with such deep inner hurt self-righteously proclaim the superiority of their own viewpoint. Why? To restore their hurt ego. Does this sound familiar? I think it does. Some even destructively self-medicate that only perpetuates the underlying problem. Isn't this right? And this is what we see. In conclusion, I will say this, that this type of continuous destructive behavior and lifestyle of yours, Stephen, will only continue to lead to a very lonely and unhappy life in the long run.
What is the world come to? I mean, you just have a bunch of stuff buckets running around. You know what I mean? They're around us everywhere. Just storms. Oh, that's hysterical. Wow, it's too funny. That was a.
We'll see you in the next one.